Okay, hello everybody. Just getting all of my materials ready. We're on day 2 of, I'm in team CS and US. Okay. Ooh. It's stuck a little bit. Alright. At least at first it looked like okay, it looked like no visible contraction to the CS, but definitely one to the US. Sorry if you can hear that in the background. I try not to listen to myself talk, so I also try not to listen to these recordings, just watching them. And again, I have my labeled alcohol with that, I don't know, black part, and then non-labeled for the rose oil. Just so you guys can watch, just as I'm watching, that I'm doing this in the right order. I also found that trying to measure them is much harder than I thought it was. It took me a while today. Probably like 45 minutes watching my video trying to measure them. Alright, trial 2. That was a visible contraction. And another visible contraction. Okay. I think we might be getting the hang of that rose oil thing. We had, I think, 10, so about 50% contractions earlier, or yesterday. I think it was 100% for the unconditioned stimulus, which would make sense, and then about 50% for the conditioned stimulus. And the frequency of contractions got significantly more dense towards the end, so I'll be curious to see today if that kind of trend continues. My buddy's still looking a little sick, so I hope he doesn't die before the week's up. He really just looks constipated, which I know sounds disgusting, but he does. And there's definitely a significant margin of error in my experiment so far. I definitely haven't been administrating them consistently to the right spot. It's just difficult looking up and down, or from above the worm, because I can't always tell exactly where the tip is, because it's kind of off. It's not centered. It's like off to the side. So we will see. That's interesting. It didn't seem like he contracted for the alcohol. It's possible. I don't have enough on there. So I'm going to call that one no contraction, but I'll obviously have to go back and watch and see if I'm correct or not. Trying to do like some schoolwork and the experiment at the same time, and so far it's working pretty well actually. I am finding that I want this to go down. I might find a new container before next week, because when I was trying to count, it's really blurry right here, which does not do me any favors when I go back. The more I get a hang of this, though, the more it's super easy to tell when it's just about time. If I get over here about 30 seconds early, I feel really confident that I'll be able to administer things on time, which makes taking the data much easier. It also makes it easier to kind of go back and forth between this and online, responding to discussions and whatnot. So far, so that was trial 5. We have 3 contractions to the rose oil, 4 contractions to the alcohol, although trial number, oh, whoops, I'm doing these in the wrong, okay, oops, okay, so far, trial 3, I don't have a contraction to the alcohol, although I'm wondering if, as I found earlier, if I'm just not seeing the contraction as I should be. Hopefully that kept recording. I'm not really sure. Alright, coming up on trial 6. Actually, that was like no contraction for either of them, which is very weird. I'm wondering if it's maybe not strong enough, or maybe he really is just becoming habituated to both of them. I'm not sure. I just wouldn't expect any kind of like adaptation to these stimuli that quickly. But I've also, you know, never run an experiment, so what do I know? I'm going to put that alcohol on a little heavier. I might have been a little weak with it before, so that could account for something. Ooh, a little late. A little late. Ooh, okay. There's a definite contraction to the alcohol. I don't know, I'm going to go no contraction for, I don't know, the rose oil. But again, these are pretty inaccurate. I really don't need to be taking data right now because I'm going to have to go back anyway. Although it is interesting to kind of see, maybe just for me. Coming up on trial 8. Oops. I did move it a little closer this time, just for ease of going back and watching it. Let me know if it's not, or if it's too close. I don't think that should be a problem, but. Okay. It appeared that there was a contraction on both. Man, that alcohol dries up so fast. It's wild. Alright, buddy. Coming in at you again. Okay, that appeared to be no visible contraction for either. But again, I do have questions about whether getting longer counts as a contraction, because not that trial, but there were several trials yesterday where I ran the CS, ran the US, and right after the alcohol, the unconditioned stimulus, right after I finished, he got longer. Or I guess before I even finished, he got longer. So I'm not sure. Okay. What is this? Trial 10. Trial 10. Yeah, this little guy is super lethargic today. There we go. Okay. That was a definite contraction. What is she doing?
Oh my god, I cannot get her.
Hi, Millie. Hi. Grab her. Grab her. Millie. Millie, Millie, Millie. Millie, Millie, Millie. Wait, grab her. Millie, Millie, Millie. Millie, come here. Come here, my girl. Baby, gotta be quicker.
I'm tired.
Whoa, Jesus. Okay, turns out my dog is giving my fiance a run for her money. That's great. Next trial, I'm going to switch out the plunger for the rose oil. It's getting like stickier than normal, I guess. Okay, trial 11. That was a definite contraction for the alcohol, but almost surely not for the rose oil. far I'm definitely not seeing the same trend that I saw yesterday. I'm not positive on why that is. My guess is just habituation, but like that's kind of my guess for everything because I don't know what could account for him. So far I'm at 4 trials of contractions to the rose oil. Yesterday, at this point, I was almost certainly at double that. So I'm wondering if we're getting into habituation of both of them, in which case the rose oil isn't becoming a very effective conditioned stimulus, which I gather is the point. Interesting. Oh, I accidentally touched it that time. Okay, again, didn't seem like there was a contraction to the rose oil. I don't know what the deal is, but I don't know. think I'm ready. Holy cow, buddy. Oh my god. That was the most intense thing I've ever seen. I don't even know if he contracted to the unconditioned stimulus. I literally cannot tell. That's so funny. I have not seen one of them move like that thus far. Wow. Man, that dude went crazy last time. So, I guess we'll see. Maybe he's getting sick of me. I'm getting sick of him too. We're on the same page, bugger. Let's see, nothing. Nearly nothing. That is so wild. I don't understand. At all. At all. It's not very effective, but right now I don't have a better plunger, so I'm gonna have to. no. Oh, sorry. This one was late. That was my bad. Oh, Lord. Okay, well, I'm just going to keep on my schedule since I only have 2 trials left. That's totally my bad. I thought I had more time than I actually did. Put your hands up. Okay, last trial. Look how you straightened out, buddy. It's probably because you're like, fuck this. All right, sweet. Thanks, everyone.